Hello, and thank you for joining me. Today we're going to talk about data and information and how the two are connected. And we'll also talk a little bit about how you can understand what good data looks like. When we think of information, there are several definitions. Your book describes information as knowledge derived from data. There are several others. It could be data presented in a meaningful context, data processed by summing, ordering, averaging, grouping, comparing, and other similar operations, and, from Gregory Bateson, a difference that makes a difference. For our purposes, let's stick with the textbook definition, knowledge derived from data. What that means is that information comes from data and the combination of data. So if we think of that, we should probably look at data also. What does good data look like? Good data can be characterized by 5 different dimensions: accuracy, timeliness, relevance, sufficiency, and is it worth it? Let's look at the first one, accuracy. Accurate data is correct, complete, precise, and consistent. If we look at the words correct and precise, they're not exactly the same in meaning for good data. Correct data is simply put correct. It gives you the right answer. 1 plus 1 is 2. That's correct. Precise data is different. It speaks to the level of precision of a piece of data and not to its correctness. Here's an example. If I look at the mathematical constant pi, you all know this number, we could say that it's 3.14. That's accurate in the terms of correctness, but it could be more precise. We could say it's 3.1415927, and so on. And the more levels of more numbers we put, the more precise it becomes. Complete data is data that has all of the component parts present. If, for example, you wanted to get a daily sales report for the week of January 1st through January 7th, you would expect to receive a report with 7 pieces of data on it. If it contained only 6 pieces, you would know that that is not complete. Consistent data is data that has consistent forms applied to it. So, for example, if you were looking at weather reports and you were looking at temperatures, mixing and matching Celsius and Fahrenheit together in one report would not be consistent, and that would not comprise accurate data. Now let's move to timeliness. Timely data is data that is available in time for its intended use. If you are looking to get a report in order to make a decision for January 1st, 2015, and you get the report January 1st, 2016, that is too late. It is not timely. Relevant data is connected by context and subject at hand. What that means is the data that you get should be connected to what you are trying to do. If you are trying to make a decision about sales, your data should be sales related, not something else. For example, inventory related, or manufacturing related, or human resources related. Next, your data should be sufficient, just enough data to meet the need. Not too much, not too little, but just right. Finally, the data has to be worth it. If you're going to collect data and analyze data, there must be some business value to at least equal the cost of its analysis. Now, let's look at a simple data set and see if the data is good, based on what we know. If we look at the report, it is titled New Hire Information, June 2013 to February 2015. Let's look at the data and see how good it is. First, let's look at the names. The names don't seem to be in any particular order, either by last name alphabetical or any other apparent order. Next, take a quick look at the hire dates. What do you notice about the hire dates? Sure, just from the very top, the hire date for John Lee is in a different format. That's inconsistent. Let's take a look at some other things. What about Nicole David? Her hire date is way outside the window of 2013 to 2015. In fact, I would guess that that's her birth date. Last in the hire date column, let's look at Ryan Ang's hire date. If I look at the first piece of data, 31, that doesn't look like a month. If I look at the second piece of data, 31-10-14, that actually seems like a reverse from month, day, year to day, month, year. This is a different format. Okay, so we've found a few discrepancies in hire date. Let's look at Social Security number. Here, if you just go down the list, the first thing that comes to mind might be this, that you have duplicate Social Security numbers. That's something to look at. The Social Security number for John Lee seems to look fine. The Social Security number for Nicole David seems to look fine. Now, Rebecca Gomez, I don't know whether this is a correct or incorrect Social Security number, but it does seem awful suspect, doesn't it? 111-22-333. That might be something that we just have to investigate. Okay, so we've taken a very quick look at a very small data set and found a number of inconsistencies. What I want you to take away from this exercise is that as budding new information systems experts, it's your responsibility to be aware of the data. Don't take any data set for granted. Don't assume that everything is accurate and correct and good, because oftentimes it isn't. And the notion of that is that when you get bad data, you get bad information, and subsequently you make bad decisions. If you have any questions about this module or would like to discuss this further, please shoot me a private message and we can continue the conversation. Thank you.